Let's learn today the internal capsule under the following heading: Introduction, shape and parts of the internal capsule, boundaries of internal capsule, fibers, that motor and sensory fibers, arterial supply of internal capsule, and clinical anatomy. Internal capsule is a white matter, and composed of compact bundle of projection fibers. Clear? Projection fibers, and these projection fibers, example, pyramidal tract. So we can see here, this is the internal capsule. So this internal capsule, it composed of axons, myelinated axons of ascending and descending tract, and the fibers are densely packed here. So a small lesion, see, remember, a very small lesion can give a big effect. Clear? Why? Because the fibers are densely packed in this internal capsule. Clear? This internal capsule, we can see the fibers rostrally, they are radiating in this manner, and finally the fibers, they end here in this cortex. So the fibers which are radiating rostrally, they are known as corona radiata, and these days this word corona you are frequently listening. So this is the corona radiata here, and this caudally, this internal capsule is known as crux cerebri, and this crux cerebri get connected with this midbrain. Clear? Now we can see here the shape of the internal capsule. The shape of the internal capsule is V shape. You can see the V shape, and this part is facing laterally. This is a lateral aspect and this is a medial aspect. So the fibers, these fibers which ascend up, and they have to end to the cerebral cortex, so that's why they are taking the turn. As a result of this bend, this internal capsule also get bent and make a V shape appearance. We are going to see 5 parts of the internal capsule. One is this anterior limb. Here is the anterior limb. Second, we will see and talk about the posterior limb. Third is the genu. Fourth is retrolentiform part. And fifth, sublentiform part. Clear? Before this, get familiar with the structure which is making the boundaries. Here we can see medially, this is the head of the caudate nucleus, and here we see the thalamus. These two structures medially present, whereas we can see here this is the lentiform nucleus which is laterally present, and these are the part of the lentiform nucleus, globus pallidus, and here we see the claustrum. This claustrum and the caudate nucleus, they are the basal ganglia. We will talk later in the coming lecture about the basal ganglia. So this anterior limb present between the anterior part of this lentiform nucleus laterally and head of this caudate nucleus medially. Then this genu is present between the anterior limb and the posterior limb of internal capsule, and the concavity, you can see the concavity is directed laterally. Then posterior limb. This posterior limb is present between the thalamus here medially and this posterior part of this lentiform nucleus laterally. Then retrolentiform part. So this retrolentiform part here, you can see this retrolentiform part is located posterior to this lentiform nucleus, whereas the sublentiform part of this internal capsule, it passes below to this lentiform nucleus. Clear? Now let's understand the fibers of the internal capsule. This is little bit complex. So it has composed of two fibers. One is motor and other is sensory. Clear? So this motor fibers, they are also known as descending or cortifugal fibers, whereas the sensory fibers are known as ascending or cortipetal fibers. So in this we first talk about the corticopontine fibers. About the corticopontine fibers. So in the total constituent of the fiber, 2/3 area is occupied by this corticopontine fiber. Clear? And they are named according to the lobes to which they are finally ending. So for this, I think it's better to draw the lobe, the cerebral cortex of the each lobe. So first I should go for, this is cerebral cortex of the frontal lobe. Here cerebral cortex of the parietal lobe, and here cerebral cortex of the temporal lobe, and here cerebral cortex of the occipital lobe. Clear? It's highlighted with this, with the yellow one. Now it's better. So important structure in the relation, this thalamus is present posteromedially and this head of the caudate nucleus present this anteromedially, whereas the lentiform nucleus present laterally. Now we will see the corticopontine fiber. So leaving this three highlighted structure, this caudate nucleus, lentiform nucleus and thalamus, the rest all what you see is the internal capsule. This is the internal capsule. Clear? So in this corticopontine fiber, the first we talk about this frontopontine fiber. You can see this frontopontine fibers. So this frontopontine fiber, they make connection here this way with the frontal lobe, the cerebral cortex of the frontal lobe, and this one is the parieto pontine. This make a connection. This cortex of this parietal lobe, whereas temporopontine fibers, they make a connection with the temporal lobe, and this one which will make a connection with the occipital lobe. This is an occipitopontine fiber. So maximum bulk is of corticopontine fibers. Please be focused and understand this corticopontocerebellar pathway. Actually, this pathway is applied to any of the fiber which is this frontopontine fiber going to this frontal lobe, or the one which is going to the parietal cortex of the parietal lobe, or the temporal lobe, or to the occipital lobe. Okay, so this pathway applied to any one of this. So how it works and how the pathway is, just be focused. See, this is the cerebral cortex, and say suppose this is of the right side. So this cerebral cortex, and here is the right side of the pontine nucleus, and this is the right side of the cerebellum. So the fibers from the cortex, it's come to the ipsilateral side of this pontine nucleus. Then the fiber, it cross and end and goes to the cerebellum of the opposite side. This is cortico with the cortex, ponto with the pontine nucleus, and cerebellar with the cerebellum pathway. So say I am talking about this parieto-pontine fiber. So how it will be the path? It will path this way. The fibers from this cerebellum to the other side of the cerebellum will cross and goes to this pontine nucleus. Then the fiber will ascend and go to this internal capsule, and from there the fiber go to the parietal lobe. In the parietal lobe, that cortex area. Clear? Similarly, if I am talking about the occipitopontine fibers, the fibers from the cerebellum go to the pontine and cross to the other side, will go to the pontine. Then from this internal capsule will go to the occipital lobe, cerebral cortex. Next fiber in this motor group is this pyramidal fibers. This pyramidal fibers. So this pyramidal fibers of two types. First is the corticonuclear, and second one is corticospinal. These corticonuclear fibers are present in the genu of this internal capsule. We can see this corticonuclear here in the genu. To understand this corticonuclear fiber, let me draw. I should draw this midbrain, this pons, and medulla of the other side. Similarly here, midbrain, pons, and medulla of the other side with this. This make a connection with the motor nuclei of the cranial nerve. So, for example, just let me see. This is a motor nuclei of trigeminal nerve. This is a motor nuclei of trigeminal. Clear? So, this corticonuclear one fiber for head and neck muscles. So this fiber take a motor input from the contralateral side. So this one is the right side, and this one right side, and this one is the left side. So here from the left side, take the motor input from the control lateral side, and this will go to this internal capsule. Then from this internal capsule, it will relay to the motor area of cerebral cortex. That is area number here in the motor area, number 4. So this part of the internal capsule, which is caudal, is the correct cerebri, and this part is the corona radiata, and radiating and reaching to the Rodman's area number 4. Next motor fiber is corticospinal fiber. Here you can see this corticospinal tract fiber. This is present in the posterior limb of this internal capsule. Now to understand this, I have to draw the section of spinal cord. So let's see the spinal cord first. These corticospinal fibers synapse with the anterior horns of the opposite half of this spinal cord, here opposite half, like this way, which innervate the muscles of upper limb, trunk and lower limb. So fiber from here, it will go to this other side and to this corticospine, then to the cortex. Clear? Now next motor fiber is this extra pyramidal fibers. Clear? So in this extra pyramidal fiber, one, this is corticorubral, corticostriate, and corticonigral. Clear? These extrapyramidal fibers, they arise in this cortex, and finally through this internal capsule, then it relay like this way. It will go and relay in subcortical area in the gray matter, and in the gray matter, as this corticorubral will relay to this red nucleus, this corticostriate will relay in corpus striatum, and this corticonigral will relay in substantia nigra. This pyramidal and extrapyramidal both are present in the posterior limb of internal capsule. So this about the motor fibers. Now we will see the sensory fibers. So the sensory fiber of this internal capsule, they are majority fibers are known as thalamo-cortical fibers. They are known as thalamo-cortical fibers. So these fibers, they come through this thalamus and get associate with the different parts of this internal capsule and radiate in the different direction. So So some radiate anteriorly, so they are known as anterior thalamic radiation. The one which radiate in the superior directions known as superior thalamic radiation, the superior thalamic radiation, and the one which radiate from the inferior part of this lentiform. So through this sublentiform part of the internal capsule is known as acoustic radiation, and the one which radiate posteriorly from this thalamus to the posterior part, that retrolentiform part of the internal capsule, is known as optic radiation. All these fibers, this thalamic radiation, they are third order sensory neuron. Clear? And they belong to various other pathway. So now it is clear that this thalamocortical fiber, they are named according to the direction. Clear? So this superior thalamic radiation can see. Another is this anterior thalamic radiation, this in the anterior direction. Then this acoustic radiation, which is this passes inferior to this lentiform nucleus through the part of this sublentiform part of this internal capsule, sublentiform part, and this optic radiation through the retrolentiform part of this internal capsule. This optic radiation will go for the vision. Clear? This arterial supply of this internal capsule has huge clinical significance. And we call them capsular lesion. They are vascular in origin. Now let's see the blood supply. This anterior limb of internal capsule is supplied by this striate branch of anterior cerebral artery. See, you can see this anterior cerebral artery, its branch, it's supplying this anterior limb, and this is known as recurrent artery of Hebner. As well as you can see here, this is the middle cerebral artery, its branch is supplying this anterior limb. So anterior limb is supplied by a branch of anterior cerebral artery and a branch of middle cerebral artery, whereas the genu is supplied by genu, which is in a blue color. This is supplied by the branch of anterior cerebral. You can see the branch of anterior cerebral supplying this, as well as branch of this middle cerebral, we can see here supplying this, as well as we can see a direct branch from this internal carotid artery. Clear? A rupture of this branch of this anterior cerebral artery, this Hebner one, will cause paralysis of face and upper limb. This posterior limb of internal capsule is supplied by, we can see here, a branch of, you can see this branch of this middle cerebral artery and this anterior choroidal one. So we can see a branch from this anterior choroidal one is also supplying. Clear? So the rupture of this carotid artery of cerebral hemorrhage, its rupture causes hemiplegia. Causes hemiplegia. This sublentiform part of this internal capsule is supplied by a branch of this anterior choroidal artery. Can see this one is a sublentiform part. So this is supplied by a branch of this anterior choroidal one as well as a branch of this posterior cerebral artery. See, clear? Whereas this retrolentiform part of this cerebral artery is supplied by a branch of posterior cerebral artery. So any vascular lesion in the posterior 1/3 of this posterior limb will cause defect in vision and auditory defect, because this, as you know, this is going as an optic auditory radiation, and this one is going as an optic radiation. So this area will get affected and result in defect, causes visual and auditory defect. So this how we finishes the complete lecture of internal capsule with clinical significance. I hope you understood well. Thank you for watching.